Welcome back, everybody. This time, instead of being like in fireworks, I'm out enjoying a nice peaceful evening on the lake with my cup of coffee. You'll see, you won't see a mug there because apparently it is disappeared. So, oh, there it is. You can see my nice cool, this is the military mug my fiance got me. So you can see her plane right, oh, nope, there it is. Her plane is right there with her wings above. So, and there is her um, seal for the Rhode Island Air National Guard. So anyway, let me get off the lake here so that we could start some learning. All right, guys. So thank goodness we are back in the classroom, which is essentially my upstairs. And we will continue with the second page of your review guide. All right, guys. So let's jump right in, and we will jump right into this PowerPoint. And we are going to continue with question number 10. What are the pros and cons of pesticide use? So some of the good things about pesticide use is that it kills pests, right? You are essentially making it so that your organisms are, you're taking care of the organisms that are hurting your crops, okay? Pests can be pests can danger the crops. They can eat your crops, right? You're destroying that. You want to save your crops. However, what are the cons? Well, the pesticide can actually hurt the crop. It could create super pests, right? The pests would become immune to the chemical, to the spray, to the pesticide, and they essentially will breed, and now you have this new breed of pests that are no longer affected by this pesticide that you've been using, by this chemical that you've been spraying. Okay, so those are the pros and cons. Number 11, what is the connection between pollution caused by pesticides? So when we think about pollution and pesticides, we're mainly thinking about soil pollution, okay? The more you use pesticides, the more they will persist in the soil, which means they do not break down. And that leads itself to soil pollution, and these pesticides start to stay in the soil and they're absorbed by the plants, all right? It's just another form of soil pollution. All right, integrated pest management. Number 12, what is integrated pest management, or IPM? Integrated pest management is a modern method of controlling pests. And what it does is it combines, farming methods, biological pest control, and chemical pest control in order to take out pests. Okay, you're not just using pesticides. You're maybe using crop rotation. You're maybe going in and picking out the pests. You're maybe introducing another organism that feeds on the pests. Okay, you're not just resorting to spraying pesticides all over. You're doing that as a last means. All right, as a last resort, you're using insecticides as a last resort. It's the last thing you want to do. You're looking for biological methods first. You're looking for cultivation practices. Heck, maybe you're even vacuuming. You're taking your Bissell vacuuming the pests off of the plants. Okay, these are all different things that you're doing. Let's see. Moving on. 13. What is the effect of pesticide use on pollinators? Okay, that is a big deal. So pollinators, we're talking about bees, right? We're talking about anything that pollinates. Well, pesticides can kill bees, and if they do, now we're losing our organisms that are taking pollen from one plant to another. When you have pollen, right, you're trying to set that fruit. So you're losing your flowers, you're losing your fruits, you're losing some of your vegetables. If there's no pollination, we're losing essentially the mating between plants. So we're losing our food source. Pollinators are very important, but they can be affected by pesticides. Number 14, what are GM organisms? GM organisms, remember GM stands for genetically modified, okay? So a genetically modified organism, number 14, that is where we have DNA that is in the organism, usually the plant, and it has been taken out. It has been replaced with other organisms' genes, right? So we're taking pesticide genes and putting them in the crops. We're modifying organisms, plants, in such a way that they are not the pure strain anymore. They're not the pure crop. Okay, they're genetically engineered to be to grow quicker, to be pest resistant, to be frost tolerant, to have better, stronger fruit. Okay, you're changing the genes. That's what it means to genetically modify an organism. 15, what role does biological engineering play with regard to agriculture? Again, biological engineering, that just means we're producing GM crops. We are using genetic engineering to transfer traits from one organism to another. We're taking something that's valued in one organism and maybe putting it into another plant. Okay, we're taking pesticide genes and putting them into plants, so now the plants are naturally resistant to pests. Okay, remember GM stands for genetically modified. 16, we're almost done, guys. What are the pros and cons to GM crops? If we look down right here, the pros right here, they are insect resistant. They are weed resistant. They produce better and stronger fruit. Now the downside, well, what if they start to breed through pollination with non-GM plants? Now you've just taken your pure plants, right, your non-GM plants, and you've essentially mated them with these plants that you've changed the genes around. Maybe we've talked about the super pests. Maybe these pests are now becoming resistant to the pesticide that you've implanted into your plants. Now these pests are like on steroids, and they can attack anything now, meaning they can start to eat plants that were otherwise resistant to pests. Now you have to do something else. You have to spray more pesticide or change your crop again. All right. It's like they talk about antibiotic immunity for humans, right? If we take enough antibiotics, eventually we tend to, the bacteria or the viruses, I apologize, I'm not a biology teacher, they become resistant to those antibiotics, right, over time. Number 17, what is aquaculture? Aquaculture is essentially fish farming, guys. That's all it is, fish farming. And what are the pros and cons? The pros, it's sustainable. It reduces bycatch, meaning if you go out and you try and net other fish, you're going to net other organisms as well. You're not just going after the target fish, you're going to net and kill other organisms. And it reduces the use of fossil fuels, right? Because you don't have to go out, you don't have to get a boat, go out there and catch the fish. They're right there for you. Now the downside, a lot of waste. Think about all these fish you have in one area. They're pooping and it's going right down. There's a lot of waste that's concentrated in one area. Also, what if these farm fish escape into the wild? Now they can mate with other non-GM fish or non-farm fish. And then last, think about like feedlots on land. If you have a disease, it can move quickly through this fish farm and all of your organisms could potentially die or become infected. So I hope you guys have learned a lot. We are all done. That is it. So hopefully you guys have learned a lot from this. I will link the first video right there. There it is. Okay, those were questions 1 through 9. So you guys will all do excellent on your test. I wish you guys the best of luck. Let me know if you have any questions after viewing these videos. And that is it. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. Mr. F saying, see ya. Or just bye. See you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.